start. Oh, Lee spun. But look at that. Panels to the inside. Oh. Here we go, Deck. Is he going to hold it? Oh, they make contact. Mata comes across the line, and for the fourth time, he is your VSL champion. Hello everybody and welcome along to VSL F1. This is Season 8, the season finale, and by the end of tonight, we will know who is the VSL Drivers' Champion for this season. And what better place to do it at the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve at Montreal for the Canadian Grand Prix. Not a traditional track hosted a season finale, but we are doing it here at VSL because we love it. My name is Jess Ball, and joining me for the final time this season, it is, of course, my good friend, Mr. Liam New, also known as Evil Dragon. How are you doing tonight?
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome along to the Canadian Grand Prix. Welcome along to the Circuit Gilles Villeneuve, the El Notre Dame circuit. This place located in Parc Jean de Preux, aka Montreal, Quebec. Here are the 4.361 kilometre circuit, 5 to the left, 6 and a bit to the right, 13 corners, I think that's how you do maths, 35 laps ahead of the drivers. First race in Canada, by the way, 1961. However, we'll get onto this circuit and all its history and facts in due course. But, Jess, we've got a lovely final. Obviously, we've got a lovely season ahead of us, but it's ending, so there isn't a lovely season. There's a lovely final race ahead of us. We'll say that much.
Yes, indeed, and we've got some permutations and we've got some interesting predicaments in qualifying, which we'll go through in a minute, and I'm going to pretend I did not say that. So, it's between two drivers, our championship decider tonight. We got Casper in the lead on 187 points, and then we've got Timo in the Aston Martin on 175 points. And to be honest, the favourite is looking Casper's direction, but we know anything can happen at VSL, and it usually does. And we will go through those permutations right now as they go on their out lap. So, if Casper is 4th or higher with the fastest lap, no matter what Timo does, Casper will be champion. If Casper finishes 4th, Timo will have to win the race. And if Casper finishes from 5th to 7th with fastest lap, Timo has to finish 2nd. Timo needs to finish on the podium if Casper finishes 7th or 8th. And I need to get the other page down. And if Casper finishes 8th, Timo needs to finish 4th. If Casper finishes 9th, so on and so forth. You can see the graphics. I don't need to go through it too much. Obviously, we will go through it as the race goes on as well, but pretty much, Liam, each driver's had his ups and downs, so literally could go either way, but I'm surely Casper has the most to lose in this situation, doesn't he?
Yeah, he's got a lot to lose. I mean, he is in a very good situation around a circuit, by the way, which, well, we'll say it's a bit soggy right now, and I mean, I've got some stats about that race, by the way, if you remember, Canada 2011. Now, Jess, how long exactly was the 2011 Canadian Grand Prix? Do you know? Because I do.
Was it? I think it was in a 4 to 6 hours, wasn't it? Oh, six pit stops, 4 hours, I think. And Jenson Button won that race, and it was one of my favourite races of all time. And I think I got it wrong, but
it is 4 hours, 4 minutes, and 39 seconds to the dot.
I was close.
You were very close. As a bit slightly there, as we are running aboard then with the first car to set a lap time, I believe. That is Mr. Dara Smith as he comes down into turn 1 into Villard's setup. This is turn 2. The inside line on the exit. All the points of part of my PlayStation decided to go into aeroplane mode. That's very sideways there, and that was almost aeroplane mode right there for the Haas. He comes through into 3 and 4, and that's right. Left hops over the curb, gets awfully close to the ball on the outside. Now, get your way up through 5 and 6, literally. What I can say, Jess, is that wasn't very controlled.
No, it doesn't look like that at the moment, but to be honest, this is the type of conditions where it is not dry and it's not that wet. It's quite slippery at the moment. And to be honest, the last time we saw Dara race was in Japan, and we have a disqualification for J-League for parking in a dangerous location now.
He's in the wall down at the hairpin.
That's turn 10. I see his car. I'm running on board with Kieran at the moment. And that's a bit harsh, game. Come on. I do not like it, but we got to draw our attention. So we got one reserve driver tonight who's filling in for Risky, who's making his debut, I believe, in the VSL. FRL Rotation, what a name. I absolutely love that name. So we'll ride on board with him on this lap as he heads towards turn number 4. And I've driven in Canada in the wet, and turn number 4 in the wet is very tricky. Purple in sector 1. That is great to see, but I think that's the game telling us porcupines, but we'll have to wait and see. This is known as a DRS straight, but obviously in the wet it is not. 1:33.7 for Dow, by the way, but we expect times to be around about in the 1:20s in these intermediate conditions, and I wonder the track's going to get any lighter. We'll have to wait and see. Past turn 8 and 9, now heading towards turn 10 into the hairpin, as Tony is going fast at the moment. Now we know Tony's quicker to shut. We'll go through a little bit more with Tony later on. So he's going through this back straight now. That is where you take the most power at the moment and take as much speed as you possibly can. And we're already below 120s actually. We're quicker than the 120s. So this is looking like a good lap for the McLaren driver at the moment. So would it be enough for pole position? No, it's not. It's P2, 4/10 slower than Johan. Where is Casper? There he is, our championship leader. Is Timo further ahead on a lap? Nope, he's not. He's about to start one. So let's follow on board with Casper, actually. And one of our first championship contenders to set a lap time as well. He's got the most to lose, but he's got less pressure under his shoulders at the moment. But let's hope neither of our championship contenders bin it into the wall of champions. So, Casper, what's he going to do? He goes up to the line, and it's going to be a 1:18.890 P4 for the championship leader.
Yeah, Timo, meanwhile, snaking around there as he gets the power on the exit of turn 7. And, well, he's got purple sector 1. How much of that is true? I don't really know. As long as he manages to negotiate these corners, just about sunshine as he heads down into the hairpin, and it's skaty around here in these intermediate conditions at 46.9 as right lock up as he comes into my favourite corner, by the way. L.E. Pringle is that corner, by the way, as he go past the old massive dome, which I still can't remember what it's called, but of course that used to be for the World Expo back in the 1970s, down the Casio Strait, and then heading towards the Quebec Wall, as it is officially called, though. It is the Wall of Champions, but
he's invalidated.
He's invalidated. He almost nailed it in it. And Timo, what would it have been? Would have been 18-2, so it would have been second position, but he's thrown his chances away as NA starts his lap time. We've got a McLaren of Iceman coming into the last corner. And remember, these drivers, if we don't, never mind, he's validated. If they do more laps, which they're more likely to do, more and more laps, just get these tyres to go up to grip as Casper across the line right now goes P3. Coming up next will be, presumably,
AlphaTauri, which is either Mike or Lee. It's probably Lee.
Yep.
Invalidated.
He's as invalidated. We've got his teammate Mike coming up next. We've got Matter, who's doing some grass cutting at turn number 1. Naughty. Mike crossed the line right now. A second up on his lap time. Stays in P10 for the time being. As we look down at the rest of the field to see, Timo has invalidated again here in qualifying. He is not having a quali to remember right now. As we look to see who is next on the drivers that haven't got a lap time to set a lap time, and that presumably will be Mr. Newgarden.
Yes, he is as well. Now, I think the corner where a lot of people tend to invalidate is either turn 4, turn 8, or final corner. Those are the main corners where people tend to get penalties on this game around this track. I don't know if it's going to be the same on the new game. I hope not. But I think this is going to be, the driver who has the least penalties is going to be doing well to keep it consistent as well. And the drivers, don't forget, Liam, will have free choice of tyres going into the race as long as the conditions don't dry up. And we could be on with some interesting strategies. But we're watching Newgarden up to the line now. In the Red Bull, 120.5 for him, P9. So to be honest, in these type of conditions, you've got to qualify as high as you possibly can. Iceman has invalidated once again. And I believe Matt is about to start his hour lap. Someone else just came across the line. Kieran's on provisional part at the moment with a 117.9. Matter, who is going to be handing the baton at the end of tonight because he's not going to be champion this season. He's done it 2 times in a row. He's done it 4 times altogether, actually. But he's not going to do it this season. But Surely he's loved his run at being champion, and it's nice to see him having his run in the Mercedes as well as he heads towards turn number 1. We've got Kieran, our current pole sitter. He's going to go through the final few corners then. He's won a few races this season, including last week, I believe. So Kieran, can he top it up with another win tonight? Well, he'll do well if he gets another pole position. It is provisional pole once again at 117.896, Liam.
Yeah, indeed, it's going to be extremely interesting. Now, I've just seen what the weather is potentially going to be doing. I'm not going to spoil it for you, Jess, as long as you don't look at the chat, because it's live in the chat right now. But it is extremely going to be interesting to see what these drivers are going to be able to do without spoiling it. You probably know, because I've said it about twice. To tell you what, Timo is not having much fun here. He's just invalidated again. This is the 4th time he's gone off the road. It's only an outlet for him, but he needs to get a lap time on and get alongside his rivals as Derek and Akon come through the last corner. Derek very sideways. He's going to get out of the way from Mr. Deck. As here comes Deck cross line. P9 for the Mercedes driver. Next up, we have the other Mercedes driver, Mr. Matter. Cross line right now, stays in, well, I say he stays in 17, but he jumps up to P3 on my screen as well, so 17th and 3rd at the same time, so good lap time from him. Next up across line, we have got, it might be, that'll be Timo starting a lap time, his teammate on an outlap as well, and of course we have got the Alfa Romeo.
In the pits.
That will be Kieran in the pit. We've then got Newgarden, which is not Newgarden, so it will be N8 who sidles through the last corner. Let's see what he can do. Not the greatest season has N8, but let's see what he can do in qualifying, and it's 14th position for him. What we are looking at, though, is what these Ferrari pairs can do.
Well, and speaking of the Ferrari drivers, Liam, last week we did the maths, and the graphics man has done the maths. Ferrari are Constructors champions, so at least they have one less thing to worry about tonight for the Constructors, because that sealed and wrapped up last week. So congratulations. We have a lovely graphic that I'm going to put up on the screen. Not now, but at the end of this as well, so they get their glory moment. So well done to Ferrari as well. So completely different team to Williams, obviously, last season with Deck and Matter.
Oh, Flexi's in the wall!
Speaking of Ferrari, and that was a big commentator's curse then. I hope I wasn't going to commentator's curse people tonight. And that was the first one there. 1-0. Oh, God, that's quite embarrassing, actually, for me, Mrs. Jess Games. But P6 for him at the moment. Now, it's Newgarden. Nope, he's not on a lap. N8 might be on a lap. He's invalidated. My bad. What about Casper, Flexi's teammate? Now, he's about 7/100ths quicker than his previous best. That would put him, I think, ahead of Yarham. But that's it, unless he can find a miraculous time in the final sector. The conditions are starting to get a bit worse as well. So, these laps may be enough to get maybe on the front row. Casper up to the line. P3. So he got ahead of Matter. That was a good final sector. He just needs to work on his other sectors. Iceman up to the line. He was purple in the final sector. And that was enough to put him into P2.
Yeah, P2 then from Iceman, but going back to Flex, he just got too much to the outside curb, and the rear end not going to bite when you do that one. As you can see, Casper getting out of the way as well. He's also going slowly. Doesn't have damage load, luckily for him. Matter coming up to the line right now. 3 temps up, takes the shortest line on the right. It's P2 then for Matter. Finally getting some pace in this car, which he's had pace a lot this season, just hasn't been able to be consistent, and his own admission he's not having the time of his life. I tell you who's not having a time, well, never mind, he goes P6. I'm going to say not having the time of life is Timo, but Timo immediately P6 right there. So that's what he needs to do, but he needs higher than that, doesn't he? Because look, his fellow companion, his main rival this season, Casper, alongside him right now. We are looking to see who's next to cross the line. That will be Mr. Tony, as he's 2.8 seconds up on his lap time. So looking like to get himself in around about that 5th, 6th, 7th position, as long as he doesn't invalidate, which he doesn't. Nice and smooth to the line. Keep it to the right, and let's see what Tony can do, and it will be P1. So finds a huge amount of time in the last corner there, and improved by 3.4 seconds. So Tony there managing to find a lot more time, and that will send alarm bells to the drivers, and that will say it definitely looks like it's starting to dry up.
It is looking like it's starting to dry up, and to be honest, I'm not surprised that Tony set a lap time like that. I was looking at his Twitter and his time trial times, and there's a yellow flag, but we will ignore that. But Tony's time trial times in the dry around Canada is amazing. I can't even go that quick. My fastest lap time around Canada is a 1:10.3. He's 2 seconds quicker than me. So,
oh my!
There's a few people that have gone off a little bit there, so that's not good. So, expect Tony to be quick there today in the dry, and if he gets pole here today as well here, that could be interesting. It's drying up, but I don't know. There's standing water starting to form, Liam, puddles. So it may not start to dry up. I don't have a clue what the weather's going to be doing right now. But it's going to make the end of qualifying even more spicy. I am very, very excited. And Casper's on 7 lap ints, by the way. I predict he's going to go into the pits right now, because otherwise he's not going to have time to set his final few laps of qualifying. Yes, there he goes. He's in the pits. So let us know your opinions in the YouTube chat. Who you think is going to be winning the title? Oh.
I think he doesn't think it's going to dry up, you know, because it is actually now really coming down.
Yeah, it
looked for a second it was drying up, but all of a sudden, the heavens have completely opened above here in Canada. Some are coming out, some are staying in, so some are going to gamble it, but it definitely looks like all of a sudden it is getting wetter and wetter by the moment. Lead through the last corner right now. Squiggling there is a Haas.
Oh!
Drops at the last corner right in front of him. And Casper saying he's really scared of that FRL guy. So something might be going on right there. We haven't seen. But as we got another car off there at turn number 1. It's Newgarden off at the exit. So a few people struggling right now as he tries to get back going. And it's a really awkward position for Newgarden to be... right there, right on the exit of turn number 1. Very easy. Luckily, he didn't get caught out there. And that was a lead coming past, I believe, or his teammate nonetheless. So, oh, look at these treacherous conditions, Jeff. They're all squiggling around it. No one's got any grip out here. We've got how many minutes to go in qualifying? To think about 2 or 3 minutes to go. That's off track there for Lee. And he manages to back keep it on the island as well. 2 minutes to go. Appalling conditions here in Canada. I've seen this before.
It's full wet. It's definitely full wet, so that's why Dara's retired, that's why Casper... Actually, no, Dara did not retire. He in the Rhineberry had a collision in final corner. And so it looks like Tony's going to be on par with Kieran on the front row. And Matta, P3, that is great to see him in the top 3. I haven't seen him in the top 3 in a while, which is great to see. And more people starting to retire. But I think... I am a bit surprised, actually, because Yarham is on the set of the 4 wets. Now, I don't know what the weather's going to be in this race. Does it mean it's going to be a full wet race? Because otherwise, why would you be on the wet tyres?
Well, I mean, that's the interesting thing. What is the weather going to be doing? I mean, legend has it, we could be seeing a topsy-turvy race, though anything can happen, of course, with the weather. All I can say right now is these drivers are just doing some drifting right now as I ride on board with rotation. He's rotating all the directions which are the right way, apart from going around in a circle, which would be very much the wrong way. So as long as it doesn't rotate 180 degrees, it will be absolutely fine, which he is doing pretty well. Newgarden there twitching around, following him as well. But like you said, qualifying is over. Tony on pole position from Kieran. Matta in 3rd as he just crossed the line right now, and that really shows 2.4 seconds slower right now. We are not getting lap times in. Timo down on his lap time. We've got Casper who's retired in the pits. Yahab on a set of full wet, just getting a feel for what the conditions are like in these wet conditions. As you can see, Newgarden hitting the wall as well. He is struggling, as a few people are. Yinks at the back. J. Luke right down the back, disqualified. So nearly 10 seconds separate the first and last position. Jinx never really got a chance. Look, that he is actually up on his lap time by 4 seconds, which is good to see. At least he is improving, so I wouldn't be surprised he was improving. Yellow flags as more people retiring in the pit lane, but we're riding on board with Jinx. That'll be the last driver to fully set a lap time that will improve. So through the last chicane comes Jinx, gets it nice and slowed up, ups over the curb on the left and the right. Now there's a Will on the left. comes to the line, this will be a 1:21. So slots himself in just over a second behind N8. So pretty decent lap time, all things considered, even though we have got appalling conditions. A car has gone off, and that is Acorn. Oh, there's rotation. You know, I said rotating around earlier on. Now he's done it. There we go. He's rotated around 180 degrees. I want to say that for a little bit. Now he's rotated back around another 180 degrees, and he's back going in a straight line. So he's done a full rotation, Jazz, and I've wanted to say that for a little bit.
I could tell, Liam, that you wanted to get the puns in nice and early, and you already did that in qualifying. So well done, Liam. You get brownie points right there. Yeah. Iceman is not going to improve, is he? No, he's not. Deck's going to go into the pits. So yeah, qualifying is over.
Yarham's hitting the wall heavily, Jazz. I've just seen Yarham is hitting the wall very heavily down the Casio straight. That. So I was just riding a board with rotation as he comes in the pit lane. So some poor old Yarham is dead in the wall. Acorn across the line right now and finishes his lap time off. He was spun around. So Tony on provisional pole for Kieran. Matter in third. Iceman in fourth, Dara in fifth, rotation in sixth, Timo in seventh, Casper he kind of needs to be in eighth position as well. Yarham from Flexi, Ryan, Lee, Deck, Len we've got Slendy, Len we've got Cars. The game will show me in a second as well. The rest of the field, if you would, game. Thank you very much. Game, please show me. There we go. Thank you. Speed. Thank you. So Slenderman in 14th position. 15th position for Newgarden. Mike in 16th. N8 from Jinx and J-Luke in 17th, 18th and 19th respectively. So very close there. The top 9 within a second. Really almost the top 10 within a second of each other. But it's Tony then with the quickest time in qualifying.
Yeah, 3 temps. Well, almost 4 temps quicker than Kieran then. So very, very great to see at this moment in time. But time to go through the full driver's standings, which hopefully I won't get drivers rating up too early this time because I had to rush through it last week. So Casper leading away, like we said, 187 points to Timo's 175. But what's going on down the rest of the grid? We got a battle for third place in the championship between Kieran and Tony, and they're P1 and P2 respectively on the grid, so that's going to be very spicy. 135 to Clippy's 128 in that order. Matter in 5th, 104. Flexi in 6th on 97. Those two could have an interesting fight for 5th and 6th in the standings. Slenderman in 7th on 93. Iceman 8th with 50. Deck 9th on 49. 10th is Yarham on 48 points, and then we got 11th is Cam on 39, J-Luke 12 on 34, Joy with Ryan Berry, Tony P 14 on 33, Hayden in 15 on 30, Matt Ryan in 16th on 29, Red Matt in 17th on 26, and we got Lee and Mike in the AlphaTauri's, both together, line astern, 22 and 18 points respectively. Pete in 20th on 17 points. I need to find the other scene. There we go. Newgarden 21st, 16 points. We've got Amin on 14. Jinx on 12. Sheldon Cooper on 6. Risky on 6. Yuri on 2. Vitinha on 2. And George, Panos and Dara. Well, Dara's yet to score. And he could score his first points tonight. We'll keep our fingers crossed on that one. And Constructors' Championship, well, it's already been decided, hasn't it? Ferrari, the gap is too big for anyone else to do anything about it. So Ferrari are Constructors' Champions. Aston Martin in second, 225. Could be an interesting fight between themselves and Alfa Romeo for second in the championship. Alfa Romeo on 212. Williams in fourth, 157. Mercedes in fifth, 153. AlphaTauri sixth on 76. Seventh is Haas on 75 with Alpine and McLaren on 75 as well. And last is Red Bull on 46. And I'm trying to find the Constructors' Champ graphic. There we go. So we got the graphic there. It was crowned last week. Congratulations to the Ferrari boys, the Casper and Flexi. You get your moment on stream. There you go. You're welcome. And we've got sponsors to go through as well. So we've got our newest sponsor. Well, it's not really a sponsor. We have signed up to use Patreon, and you can get quite a few subscriptions in a variety of different tiers. You get lots of benefits which you can find out by going on to patreon.com/VSL F1, so make sure you check them out. And our sponsor, which I'm going to say for the final time, Rogue Energy. You can use the code VSL F1 League for 10% off and you can go onto their website, rogueenergy.com. And we got through everything, and the countdown hasn't gone, Liam. I'm actually very proud of the drivers. They're actually doing what we're saying today. This is great.
Indeed, yeah, we can, I can say we can go now. So, there we go. We've done it, finally. Everyone's, got through the infamous countdown, as well. We've got through all our sponsors. Everyone has had their momentary break, and I said you can ready up, and they've readied up on point, so, I can let the drivers know when they can ready up. I guess I can do that as well, because we have done all those things. But it's going to be interesting here today in Canada. Weather, it looks like it could be a interesting changeable conditions potentially later on, as well. A chance apparently for a thunderstorm at the closing end of this race. There is apparently a chance, low. It is a low chance as well. So we'll see what happens. But already there is some clouds in the sky. We are on the grid then here in Canada. First hosted the Canadian Grand Prix, by the way, back in 1978. That race, by the way, run by the legendary Gilles Villeneuve, of course, named in his honour after his tragic death at, where was it? It was in Belgium in 1982 at Zolder. Unfortunately, that day coming off the back of Jochen Mars's March. Of course, has hosted every single race apart from a few, of course, 1978 all the way up until 2008. Did not host 2009 due to, of course, some economical issues, of course, because America went, well, the entirety of the world went into a little bit of an issue. Of course, came back in 2010, of course, up until 2019, dropped off the calendar in 2020 and 21 due to something we cannot pronounce because we might get shouted at by the internet and demonetized on YouTube. And, of course, it came back. It was coming back this year as well. It'll be in just a couple of weeks. I think it's next week, actually. I think the Canadian Grand Prix, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it is next week. Yeah.
It is next week, Len. So, Canada is back. There we go. The Canada Grand Prix is how it's going to be called now. But, Jess, the crucial thing here is, what can Timo, what can Casper do?
Yes, and obviously we will keep you updated on the permutations, do not worry, and we have a graphic of whoever gets crowned champion as well, so there we go, which will also get tweeted out later. But let's have a look at the tyres, because everybody had free choice of tyres due to the fact it was raining for the entire session. So, we've got Tony, Kieran, Iceman, Dara, Rotation, Timo, Casper and Yarham, all the top, well, 9 apart from Matter on the mediums, and Matter's on the hards, as well as Flexi. Ryan Berry's on the mediums, Lee's on the mediums, Dex on the hards, Slenderman's on the hards, New Guard's on the mediums, Mike's on the softs, Ahmed's on the softs, Jinx on the mediums, J-Luke on the mediums, and a normal strategy around here, if it's dry, is faster with a 2-stop, because the undercut is one of the shortest on the game in terms of pit lane lost time, but like we said, in terms of changeable conditions, anything can happen. There could be rain, there could not be rain, but before the final time, Liam, I will hand it over to you to go through the start.
Indeed, then is J-Luke, the last car on the grid, gets himself into position. Tony at the front, Kieran alongside your top 2 championship contenders in 7th and 8th. But for the last time this season, 1, 2, 3, 4 red lights. Look, but never stay because he'll be champion today. We leave the grid in Canada. Looks like Tony gets a very good start then. Kieran trying to pull up alongside. Further down the field, there looks like a bit of a contact. There is Timo coming up the inside into turn 1, trying to make a few positions on the outside there of McLaren. As they all snake away then up through the gears. It's Timo up to 5th position. Casper into 7th, battling alongside there. And getting forced into the wall there by Dara. He drops down positions. This is not the start that Casper needs, dropping down 1-2 positions. With contact with Dara, no damage done, we believe, as well. Ahead low, Timo all the way up into 4th position. Stunning start for him, rotation in 3rd. Kieran in 2nd, Tony in 1st. As you look down the field, NA dropping down the back of the grid. He's had issues already, lost his front wing. Has a few cars skipping over the chicane. Lee skipping over the chicane as well as J-Luke going over the chicane as well. Yellow flags as N8 has gone into the wall already, and that might be a safety car at the media stage of this race as Mike battling away with Lee on the exit of the hairpin. It looks like we might get away without a safety car. Virtual safety car has actually now just been deployed as NA in the wall then, so it's unfortunate, me saying he's having to battle up, maybe to get some luck, and unfortunately he's out of this race. In comes Yarham into the pit lane for a set of presumably medium tyres going on, I am going to guess. Or was that a set of soft tyres? Yeah, a set of soft tyres, no new nose, so he's decided to do his first mandatory stop. Well, his first stop of this afternoon, try and get himself out of the way. Remember, pit delta around here extremely short, around about 14 seconds on the virtual safety car. You are only losing around about 10 seconds, ideally 10 to 11 seconds, so not a lot of delta loss all things considered. But Tony leads this race.
Yeah, doing quite well so far, but like you said, Liam, it's not looking good for our championship leader, Casper, because, well, he is wanting Timo to score a little bit lower, but I think as it stands, I think Casper will be champion anyway, because Timo will need to finish third. Fourth, actually. Actually, no, yeah, Timo is doing enough at the moment. But we're seeing Darren Matt having a little bit of a battle into the hairpin, heading towards turn 11. There you go, and he's no DRS yet, but is he going to go for a lunge into the final few corners then? Is he going to look left, or is he going to look right? He's not going to look any direction. He's going to stay put at the moment. It's a big train going on at the moment. And Slender almost had a bit of an off in the Wall of Champions, and did I say that few people might go off in the Wall of Champions? And Slender Man just did that. Well, he's not a champion, so
Oh, his Mike now comes up the inside. There is another car. It's Ryan Berry. Mike contact. And Slenderman, by the way, was hit round into the chicane, by the way. Somehow didn't hit the wall. He had a car on his outside. I think it was, actually, the Alpha Tauri of Ryan Berry, who's gone and have now had contact, unfortunately, with Mike. Both of them are going into a bit of a spin anyway, unfortunately. But those two coming a crop up. Tony now leads still from Kieran. Rotation is in third. Behind him, Timo doing what he needs to do right now. As things stand, Casper needs to get another couple of positions here. I think sixth position will do it for him. Though I cannot be so certain as things stand in terms of the permutations. Jess is more knowledgeable of me on that one. As J-Luke and Slenderman battling around, as that is actually J-Luke who is ghosting. He is not ghosting anymore, but it was ghosting ever so slightly right there. No damage done. As now here we can see Lee trying to make a move on Slenderman around the outside. His rotation getting past Kieran. In the meanwhile, as we can see, these two squabbling around at the chicane, and that's always just about breaking each other enough of room. As Mataled dropping down a position or two, now up into 7th comes Casper. So a few movements making already. As you can see, actually, I think Matta might have got out of the way there, because Casper weaving ever so slightly on the exit corner. That looked like a thank you message to me. Next up will be 6th position. That'll be Dara, and with an exit like that for Dara, it should be a little bit easier to come soon by. Meanwhile, Timo up into 3rd position. Kieran now back into 4th.
yes, indeed. So a lot of positions are being made in the making, and I wonder if things could change in terms of where people are at the moment. Casper's starting to find a little bit of a groove as well, and so is Timo as well. So this is very, very great to see, and we all know that things can change at a drop of a hat. But Casper is going to be using his DRS then to full effect then, as he's not even close enough to even attempt to move on down. As I said that he is close enough. He's to the right hand side he goes, clips that right hand apex very nicely indeed. He takes it better than I usually do around Canada on this game, as he's now up into 6th position, and that's one crucial position that he needs. With Kieran's time penalty as well, it could change things, and I won't be surprised to see more drivers get time penalties as well, as Iceman edges onto the back of Kieran as rotations get a time penalty. Liam, I'm not doing very well with commentators' curses, am I? As Johan sets the fast lap of the race, 1:11.3, so doing a good job so far. Iceman is going to get DRS on Kieran, methinks, into turn 7 and 8, but he just can't seem to get past Kieran. He seems to be better on the corners, it looks like, because Kieran has the better straight line speed, but at least Kieran has a penalty, whereas Iceman does not. Yeah, as you can see, Iceman is really starting to close in on the corners there, and then we got a Miss McLaren being chased by a championship contender who needs to gain a position if he wants to win the title right now. So he needs to do all he can at the moment. So to the right hand side, no, he doesn't go for any move. We'll keep an eye on board with him actually, see if he goes for a move into turn number 1. But I think he's just playing it safe.
Casper has hit the wall of champions ever so slightly there. I don't think he's got damage, but here's Dara to come back up the inside, and Casper all of a sudden was, when he slightly grazed it, but I think he might have just got away with it that time around, as you can see Deck battling with Lee into turn number 1. And Deck can't quite pass Lee. Lee has the ideal line. Flexi, meanwhile, gets himself a time penalty to add to Ferrari's sudden downturn in form this afternoon in Canada. But remember, it's all about the long runs. It's a marathon, not a sprint. Who is having troubles and is not doing what I was about to say is marathon, not a sprint. It's Rotation, who's now picked up 6 seconds of time penalties. We're on lap 6, so he's picked up a second a lap in terms of what he's done, unfortunately. But looking down the field, I don't know if Casper's got damage or not. We'll see if he comes into the pit. There was a fair old whack on at the front wing. Timo Lope looking for second position as he comes down into the chicane. Right, then left. And you want to be nice and gentle here. Do you try and make a move straight away? Is Rotation going to defend it? And he's just going to sit back right now. His teammate doesn't want to fight it too much. Want to be careful though, because you have got Kieran and Iceman up behind. And the last thing this man wants is to have a bit of a twitch like that and all of a sudden have a car snake one up the inside. Casper Bimol has not stopped, so we believe if he has got damage, it's not going to hold him up too much.
He was very, very lucky there, because usually when I hit the wall of champions, I hit it very hard and I have to get front wing replaced. So, yeah, that was a save and a half for Mr. Casper in the Ferrari at this moment in time. As Tony is really starting to pull away, actually. Very, very brilliant right now. And has he got the fastest lap? I don't think he has. Yaham's got the fastest lap, but he's not that far behind with the fastest lap as Darren picks up another penalty, and Casper starting to challenge him once more, so that's going to be interesting to see. Now, the clouds, they're not looking that threatening at the moment, as Timo's looking to get P2 from Rotation. Can he do it? He even does it before he gets to the braking zone, so that's how committed he was to the corner. As Timo's up to second, Kieran, well, Rotation is struggling there, and that's allowing Kieran an open invitation to get past him and up into third. So Kieran back on the podium then, and Timo, well, Casper is in 7th at the moment, and well, it's not enough for Casper at the moment. So Casper's 7th at the moment. Timo needs to be 3rd or lower for Casper to be champion. Timo is 2nd.
And Casper has just picked up a time penalty to his Rose as well. That was a very close cut one as well, in my opinion. He just ever so slightly grazed over the line. That is now, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 people have got penalties. I say penalties. Kieran just picks up one to add to that list as well. He's now picked up 6 seconds as well. And that is now 6 for Kieran and Rotation. The rest of them all on 3-second time penalties. As above us, a cloud slowly starting to move over. I'm presuming around about lap 12, 13. Potentially, if the clouds are moving as they are, we could start to see some interesting conditions, as Kieran there just about holding the line ahead of Iceman. Iceman a little bit snaky, but Timo now starting to push away a little bit and try and catch that race leader. As you can see, further down the Rotation in the pit lane. So he has had enough. He's called it a day. He's retired in the pit lane. So the newcomer, unfortunately, for whatever reason, has decided to give up the ghost already, which is a real shame to see. And Ryan Berry down in 60. Mike will jump up into 17th position. 2 retirements in this afternoon's motor race then here at Canada. And Kieran starting to close back up on Timo all of a sudden. Looks like Timo may have made a mistake recently.
Yeah, it looks like it. Timo is gaining a lot of time on Kieran, but Kieran doesn't have that time penalty. So Kieran really needs to get past him ASAP into the next braking zone coming up, as we're starting to see Kieran doing a brilliant job, but he's not doing a brilliant job with his ERS though. He's on 50%, so if you get down to 10%, that's where you start to lose a lot of the electrical power you need on the straight, and that is not very good, and it doesn't end well. So Casper then heads to not Casper, Kieran. Too many Ks in this lobby, Liam, as Jinx does get past Matto into the final corner, up to P7, and he's getting very, very dark, very, very quickly, Liam.
Yeah, it certainly is. J. Luke, meanwhile, getting overtaken then as well, down into the Quebec wall, and that there is Lee now into 10th position, 9th position for Flexi so far. It's Casper now in 6th position. He's jumped up a position as one retiring. So with Casper 6th and Timo in 2nd, it will bring it down a bit more, but still not enough if my calculations are correct. Timo needs to drop down to at least 3rd, but he's currently safe there. Is Kieran and Iceman all doing some drifting through the exit of turn number 8 and 9. As they are struggling on their medium tires. Yellow flagged a virtual safety car.
That is Mike.
Not Mike. And rain. It's starting to rain, Jazz. Here in Canada, we have got some drizzle in the air now. It's not trying to come down heavy enough for anyone to dive into the pit lane. If you're on a full safety car right now, you would gamble on it. But we have got some rain as in comes Casper. He's diving into the pit lane. DRS has just been enabled. In comes Casper and Liz, surely for a set of intermediate tyres. It is got to be a set of new front wing and a set of intermediates as Slenderman picks up a 3-second time penalty.
Yarham's in.
Very gamble then. In comes, in comes Yarham. In comes Deck as well. Set of intermediates for the pair of them. So, they're gambling, and there is a new nose. That is Akon, who lost his front wing, so that is explaining why we might have had a virtual safety car. But now, what do you do?
I don't think it's wet enough, Liam. I think maybe next lap or the lap after, it's still dry. So, the likes of Casper and Yarham and they're going to lose so much more time compared to the ones on the mediums. This could be Timo's to gain at the moment, but we'll have to wait and see what Tony does. Will anyone else take that gamble? Maybe they're predicting there could be a safety car. So Tony stays out, so does Timo, so does Kieran.
It's getting really wet out here. I'm just looking at the line. Sorry to cut over you, but all of a sudden there is a big haze on this circuit starting to form right now. I tell you what, it might actually be around about a lap or two away, but it's definitely getting wet out there. You can see on board with the likes of Tony and Timo. You can just see a slight little haze around some of the corners starting to come up. So it might be early, but it's not sillily early. In terms of how big the gap is to the leaders, it is 38 seconds, and that gap, is it coming down or going up? To the answer, it is going up a little bit more. So I think Casper might potentially have done this a little bit earlier.
Same with Yarham.
Yeah, it's still a long way to go. It definitely looks like it's getting wetter out there. Remember, always a possibility of a safety car to come out. Meanwhile, J-Luke waltzing around the outside of Lee into turn number 7. Gets the job done very nicely for him as well. So, a few people making up a few positions here, but this could potentially be a blunder. Now, 41 seconds off Lee for Casper. So, it's not working the way he wants as Tony picks up his first penalty this afternoon.
Yes, quite surprised that Tony's picked up a penalty, which means Timo is your net race leader because the conditions, well, it's kind of in between really as well. It's a bit slippery at some parts, but dry in others as well, because obviously the circuit is in different parts of obviously the city. So, of course, it will be dry in others and wet in others. There's all a few slideys from people into turn number 1 as more penalties are coming. And I think with the track getting slippery, I won't be surprised if everybody gets a time penalty. Yes, I just said it right there. And if anyone does not get a penalty, I will give them brownie points, just like I gave Liam earlier. So, typical brownie points for me. Yeah, I'm a nice person as well. Iceman's looking very good, by the way, with his ERS. And he's looking to try and get past Kieran. He's got no penalties either. Kieran's one a bit wide in the hairpin. Oh, I don't know. Oh, it's slippy. It's very slippy, Liam. I think everyone should go in the pits now. I think it enters. So we'll see.
Yeah, I think it's into conditions. Look at the onboards then, and we're going to be seeing people diving in the pit lane. Yeah, I'm going to see Timo in. Unsurprising, that's a good call for Timo. Now is the right time to do it, because all of a sudden, I think DRS will be disabled at the end of this lap. In comes Dara, and I won't be surprised to see Jinx, Matter, Flexi, Lee, J-Luke, and everyone else in the pits. Casper has really dropped a lot of time here. He's now 48 seconds down He was gambling on it. He was gambling on the terrain heavier because look.
He's going to hope there's a safety car now.
Yeah, he's going to have to hope a safety car comes out to get himself back in this race. It's always possible of these drivers staying out on the slick tyres. Here is J. Luke coming up to pass and getting past Len Lee. They're going to be careful because in turn one, that is actually a pretty distance, actually, is Darius comes out there as these two squirm away side by side, but it's definitely wet. Jinx there down in ninth. Timo up in 5th position will easily dispatch Matt up in the space of a few seconds because long as he doesn't drop the rear end. As talking of positions, Iceman now up into 2nd. DRS has been disabled apparently, so that's just come up on my screen, so we should not be able to see. No, saying that though, Iceman's got the DRS open, so maybe it's not been completely disabled yet, but it's any second now. It's disabled, but Tony stays out. In comes Iceman. In comes Kieran. Timo, what's he going to do? He's on these intermediate conditions.
Matt has to come in, and so does J-League, and so does Lee.
Yeah, but look, meanwhile, down at Casper, he's behind Flex, he's behind Slenderman as well. He says, this is not going the way he thought it was going to go this afternoon. He to take a gamble, and it hasn't paid off. He's going to have to gamble on someone dropping off into the wall. Is now into 2nd position and pretty much your net race lead nearly. Though saying that, there is Iceman. He's done the overcut strategy. As Iceman, he has overcut Timo into turn number 1 and has got the position ahead. DRS has now been disabled. So Tony, if he comes in now, will lead this race and stay in this race. But the gap there, 17 seconds, is a 15.8 second real deficit. Yellow flags, and there is Dara, and that will be a safety car.
Yeah,
it will be a safety car.
That's a Tony faking that.
That is a big off. That is a massive off for Dara there. That is horrendous because he has blocked the circuit. Luckily, the ghosting system will help him, but completely sideways. The locks there, and luckily, no one getting up any punctures. And that's going to help Casper come back into this race ever so slightly.
That was very lucky, Casper. Very lucky. And that's also very lucky for Tony as well. Because everyone's going to be under Delta. And you're going to lose so much less time under safety car as well. So he's going to get a free pit stop out on all this. So biggest winner, I have to say, was Tony. And to be honest, it's hard to predict if there's going to be safety cars. And Tony was, I think, just hoping there was going to be one, and bang, there is one. Oh, no, deck. So let's see if Iceman gets the undercut on Tony.
Nope.
It's going to be close. Nope, it's not even close. Tony is your leader, but Iceman will technically be your net race leader because of penalties. And the Arham's got to drive through as well. Oh, this is not good for any of these drivers who got to drive through. So, as it stands, in terms of the championship permutations, Casper currently sitting P11, but he may drop.
Yarham is in the wall. Somebody cut over you, Jess. Yarham's on the dries, and
why would you want to be on dries, Yarham? What are you doing, man?
Yet. He hasn't got round to the pits yet. That's the issue. I was sorry to cut over you, but I just saw all of a sudden Yarham just spear off into a wall. So that's why he's struggling. But back to your permutations.
Yeah, so Casper currently sitting in P11. All Timo needs to do is finish 4th. And he's 3rd. So Timo is doing enough at the moment.
Yeah, he's doing just enough right now, but still a long way to go. We're on lap 16 of 35, 20 odd laps still to come ahead of the drivers, Jess. And I mean, anything can happen. We are forecast heavier rain later on. Safety cars like this are not going to help, as Yarham now out of this race. Both is now out of this afternoon. One Red Bull and one McLaren means we've still got one Red Bull and just about one McLaren still in. That is Iceman, by the way. 2nd position is highest result this season, by the way. I think has been 3rd, if I'm not mistaken. I don't think he's won a race so far this season.
Who?
But Iceman.
I don't think Iceman's won a race. I think it's mainly been, if I get the standings up again, I'm not going to get it up on your screen, but I think Casper, Timo, Kieran, Tony, Matta, Slenderman. I think Slenderman's won a race, hasn't he? Yeah, Slenderman's won a race. I think Yarham's won a race. No, Iceman has not won a race. And yeah, he could as well. And he only became full time only recently, I think 3 or 4 races ago. So that will be amazing to end his season off on a high, by the way, I have to say. And to be fair, massive shout out to him, by the way. He created the graphic which had it all comes down to this on the front, and it has the point either side of the championship. I absolutely love that. And I know Iceman, he's so good at graphics. I try to do graphics and I just lose all patience whatsoever. But yeah, thank you to Iceman for that, by the way, for doing that one-off graphic. It looks amazing, by the way. And he's doing well on track, Touchwood. But anyway, we're down to 15 drivers. Don't forget, Liam, top 12, score points. And if you do get the fastest lap, you'll get 2 extra bonus points if you're inside the top 12, which could make a difference in the championship permutations. Tony currently leads the field away. Safety car stayed out another lap because we're waiting for Mike and Akon to catch. Oh no, Casper! Casper spun!
He's got too much on the curb, hasn't he? He's dropped it round. Has he got damage? No, he hasn't, but 13th now for him, and he's going to probably come into the pit lane. We've got another car in the pit. That's Jay Luke into the pit. And let's see what he's going on then. Is that another set of intermediate tyres I'm seeing going on? It's a full set of wets for him. So Jay Luke going for
a gamble.
I mean, why not take the gamble right now? We know it's going to get wetter later on this afternoon. So you've got the chance. You'll come out ahead of Mike just about. This will be a bit closer to turn 1, but he should slot himself ahead. Because remember, turn 1, of course, flies through, of course, well, the pit exit flies through turn 1 into 2. So you gain a lot more time than your rivals, especially on the safety car as well. Because you can full throttle it whilst these guys are stuck at the speed limit. So a little bit of a jump there, but Casper, he's a lucky puppy right now. P12 has only dropped 1 position, all things considered. He was P11, I think. So, still in the points, but Timo right now doing what he needs to do in 3rd. And Casper, who he probably wished he didn't have that issue a few races ago, where his ERS was stuck on full. There was some lost key points right there, and if he loses this championship, he'll very much point to that one, saying that might be where I could have lost this championship, but still all to play for. The safety car in this lap.
Yes, indeed. It'll be up to Tony to lead the field away. And we could have a crazy race coming on our hands. Remember 2011 where we talked about Jenson Button winning that race? Sebastian Vettel going wide into turn 6, I think it was. We could see something similar here today. And we also had other crazy things happen as well in Canada. And we will see how it turns out. Championship is all to be decided today. And Tony, when's he gonna go? He's gonna go now. He's going full throttle then. He's been caught, well, everyone else has been caught unawares. As Flexi's in the pit. As Timo is gonna go to the left-hand side into turn number 1 and 2. Can he make it stick? Yes, he does. Timo, he didn't need to do it, but he did anyway. He's up into P2, and more crucially, he is your net race leader at the moment. Due to Tony having a penalty, he needs to make sure he pushes to get into the penalty window. Slenderman with a brilliant move into turn 4. Wow, that was absolutely sensational from the Alfa Romeo driver. He's up into 7. There's lots of moves being made at the moment. People think it's dry, but it's not. It's Indus, and they're still making moves. That, to be honest, is better than what I could do around Canada, as Flexi's also on full wets taking the gamble. And already those two are dropping like flies, Newgarden and Flexi and J-Luke. Casper's right on the back of Ryan Berry. Casper's on his way back up into 10th, by the way. So that could change the permutations just a little bit. So it may not be over for Casper yet. Things just change at a drop of a hat. In 1 minute, Timo's in the fight for the title. The next minute is Casper. But Timo, he's already caught up, and he's 5 tenths behind Tony now.
Yeah, Timo then starting to fly. He's starting to get his rhythm back on. His Iceman there skating away through the last chicane. Though, like I see, no one has actually retired in the Wall of Champions so far. It had a few people graze the Wall of Champions, which is always unfortunate, but no one heavily hitting. But Timo doing what he needs to do right now, just keeping on the island. fuel is yellow, but that should be fine. As long as, remember, under these conditions, you are not going to be using as much fuel as you would normally be. As well as we can see a little bit slidey there, as well as in the pit comes Deck. He'll come back out and will be ahead of these drivers behind, of Flexi and Newgarden, but a set of intermediates for him to get himself to the potential full wet conditions in a couple of laps. But Tony and Timo, your top two, gap 0.7 of a second. Iceman and Kieran, they are separated by a couple of seconds between those two respectively as well. 1.6 seconds between Iceman and Kite. Kieran, might we say, Jinx in 5th, Matta in 6th from Slender, and Len comes in lead. As you can see further down the field, we've got J-Luke getting out of the way of Mike.
No, but he's not. He's going to. He was trying to go for it there. He was trying to...
I think he was nearly crashing into the rear end of Mike, to be fair, Jez. I don't think he meant to do that. I think he braked. Didn't stop.
No.
In comes Matt.
So Matta is in then for wets. This could be it. It's getting... Let's see if there's any puddles.
There is puddles, Jess. There is puddles on this circuit. I mean, it is definitely getting wetter out there, so we'll see if anyone tries to take a gamble for a set of full wet.
J-Luke did the undercut on Matta. J-Luke did the undercut.
Yeah, he has got the undercut strategy. I mean, let's also say that J-Luke has did pit under the safety car as well, so did not lose as much time as others. Remember, they're all battling as well.
He's closing in on Mike again.
Yeah, he is closing in on Mike. This might be an indicator as well if I was someone like Casper, who is, by the way, on the move. He's overtaking Ryan Berry, and every little helps, as they say. And was it Morrison's or is it Morrison's? Every little helps. Tesco's. Every little helps. And he does pass a blue car. I mean, Tesco's is blue as well, blue and white, and a bit of red, I think, actually. So that's, I mean, blue and red. I mean, we've got a Ferrari and an Alpine together, so I can legally say that. So there we go.
Other supermarkets are available.
Yeah, I always go to Aldi's because it's close as well. It's like 5 minutes away from me. But Tesco's, I went there recently. Got lots of cheese and crackers. And I like cheese and crackers. So there we go. I tell you what, though. I don't want to eat cheese and crackers in these conditions because it's a bit soggy. And I don't like a soggy cracker. Talking of soggy, there is penalties. Yes, it is very soggy out. In terms of penalties, by the way, in talking of things, we've got 14 seconds for Lee. 6 seconds for, 9 for Kieran, as you can see, Ryan Berry, like you said, in the pit lane. 6 for Mike, 3 for Casper, Flexi, Newgarden, Tony, and Iceman, and Jinx as well. So a wide variety of penalties. The interesting thing right now, 14 seconds separate 1st and 8th position. That is Casper down in that 8th. That's really actually caught on and brought back in, but to be champion, I think he needs to finish at minimum of 5th.
Who? Casper?
Yeah, if we finish right now, I think 5th will do for him.
Right, let me have a look for you. So if Casper finishes 8th, Timo will need to finish 4th? No. Excluding penalties, I think Casper... So I need to look at Timo's permutations because that's the one who's high at the moment. So Timo finishes 2nd. Casper needs to be 7th or lower, I think.
Big stand. He needs to get 1 or 2 more positions. And I mean, he's what? He's in a net 6th position, we believe. Net 7th position actually right now, counting on penalties. 6th for Slenderman,
so 7th.
But remember, Timo, he's got a net race lead right now. That's the crucial thing. So
if Timo drops to 3rd, Casper will be champion. But if Timo finishes 2nd or 1st, with Casper being a net P7, then it's up to Timo, really. So we'll have to wait and see. Anything could happen. Lap 23. Oh, as I just said that.
Teammate just had a massive start. These conditions are appalling, Jess, right now. These drivers need to come in, I think, for a set of wet tyres. I would not be gambling on these conditions because someone is going to stack it in the wall. You can see Iceman squirming away.
Oh, Timo! Jeez.
Yeah, just about struggling to get on the power up. We'll be seeing drivers in the pit lane, I reckon, at the end of this lap. It would be wise to see someone try do it. If I was someone like Casper, at least, I would be diving in the pit lane because it's very wet right now. And looking down at Jay Luke, he is still just about catching. He's got Matter actually who's really catching these guys up. But they're all staying out for the time being. They're all just waiting for the ideal moment. But you can see, meanwhile, there is Matter. And he is right up the back of Jay Luke right now. And just pulling to the inside, just getting himself some visibility. Though saying that, I do hope on next year's game, I don't know if it is the wet conditions are a lot, if you can see more or less. I hope you can see less, because I don't like being able to see on these conditions, because you can see far too well on the broadcast camera.
Yeah, you can. You really can. And it's weird, but to be honest, it may be down to the type of rain that we have, because it could get worse as the race goes on. So that could be interesting. So we are at the final round, don't forget, because after this round, that'll be it for the season of F1 2021. And we've had some good memories around here as well. Some great battles, great races, and great historical moments records being made on the channel as well. But we still got a champion to be crowned at the moment. At the moment, it's all going Timo's way.
Timo in. Set of wets. Gets it slowed down. Yes, he does. This will be for a set of wet tyres.
Iceman's in. And I think Jinx staying out. No, he's not. No, Jinx going for the double stack.
Blender in. In comes Lee. Casper staying out then. So Casper trying to go with one more lap. See if he can do anything. That's, I mean, he's got to try something then. Just hope for a safety car. That's his own gamble right now. Hope for a safety car to try and get a few positions, but look there, Timo's going to come out right behind him. That it really shows. And Timo, by the way, on a set of wet tyres. Casper on a set of intermediates. You can see people jumping up and down, and you can see that Jay Luke and Matt have really jumped up all of this.
Oh, Jesus, they nearly hit each other.
They're literally inside each other, and I've seen people come together down here on the exit of the pit lane before. Kobayashi did it, I think, was it Nick Heifeld did it on the back of Kobayashi back in 2011, in very similar conditions right now, and right about right now, the Canadian Grand Prix in 2011, it suddenly became monsoon conditions. We got about 16-hour red flag. Remember, that was about a 2-hour red flag nearly that day. We still managed to go the full race distance, remember, because back in those days, you could run a... Who was it? A 2-hour... No, you could run up to a 4-hour race in, I think, 6 hours. So, that is why they ran that long, if I'm not mistaken. As Timo and Tony. Sorry, Tony stays out. Kieran stays out. Outstaying is Casper as well.
Oh, no.
Squirming away, but he's closing, but not quick enough right now, so why not take the gamble? Does he think it's not going to get wet enough? Is that's the only gamble he's going to go on right now, is it does not get wet enough? By looking at that, though,
that is wet.
By saying that, Timo gets even more sideways. So, I mean, what do you do right now? Do you risk it and stay out? Do you come in the pit and lose positions? You've got to hope for something to go right for you, and I mean, why not stay out right now? I mean, in these intermediate conditions, I mean, the Inders can go quite far into the wet weather. And if you have to nurse it a little bit, you do. Because he's not sliding as much as Timo right now. Timo's struggling.
Yeah, it could be. And you never know. There could be someone that bins it. And Casper could be right back into contention. I think that's what Tony's hoping for at the moment as well. It worked for him before. And it's might work for him now at the moment. Well, Tony's got the gap, hasn't he? So he should be enough. Tony stays out.
Timo sideways there on the exit. Keep another straight, boys. And they just about do. Timo almost dropped it into the side of Casper. Nailed the piece. He was into the hairpin. Couldn't quite keep it up. But he manages to carry it on the island right now as he'll squirm through the chicane. But Timo on these wet tyres, they are just not biting as much as those Inters. They're saying that now to the outside line. Casper goes far too deep into the corner. And now Timo into the P3 that he needs for this championship sideways. Casper can't get on the power. He'll have now Iceman coming up behind him as well. But a long way down is the likes of Slenderman, Jay Luke, as yellow flag. And Timo's off. Timo's dropped it. Front wing's gone. Safety car has been deployed. And the championship blown wide open.
I think Casper has the 9 lives mantra at the moment. Because Casper, Kieran and Tony, you lucky human beings. But I think Iceman's going to be in net P2 at the moment.
He will potentially be. Kieran might be a bit close. Remember, you lose a lot less time in the pitch right now. And unsurprisingly, they will come in the pit lane. So Casper has got a second life for this. He has got a penalty. Timo does not. But remember, he's got a bit of time of saying, look at him squirming.
And Timo's got no front wing. So Timo has to come in anyway.
Timo will come in, so he's going to drop a little more time than this. So as long as Casper gets it slowed on his marks and gets it into the pit lane, which he should do pretty easily, gets it slowed down, stops it very much on the marks, exactly 50 miles an hour. In comes Timo as well, squirming on the brakes, and he's going to drop a bit more time as well, remember. So Iceman, where's he going to come out? I say he's going to come out on P3, like I said, because remember, you gain a lot less time and you think under the safety car. It's only about a 10-second delta, and look at that, it's about 10 seconds. So there we go. Casper in third. Mata, he's going to come out. This is really not going to help Timo. Look at him in the pit. He's going to drop down 8th position then, so he's going to have to all to work for. As things stand now, all of a sudden Casper is in the line of this championship.
Timo needs to win. Timo needs to win if it stands like this.
And right now, down in 8th position. So he's going to have to hope for a miracle. He had it potentially in his grasp. Casper, who's still got to negotiate 8 and a bit laps. We have got thunder and lightning, apparently, above the circuit, which I've just heard. So, it's wet. Flexi, meanwhile, he's going for gambles. He's on the intermediates.
Ah.
So, I think he's just going to go for some fun out there. We've got a few on the inters. Slenderman, Jay, Luke, and Flexi on the intermediate. Remember, though, these wet tyres, they are very slidey. I mean, the intermediate conditions sometimes have got more grip than the full wet. So, we'll see. But remember, safety car will be in on lap 30 to lap 29. I think lap 30 is the more ideal pit stop window. So, I'll be staying out another lap or two because I don't believe New Gun's going to come in. Is Kieran diving in to the pit lane?
Has he got front wing damage?
Yes, he has he? No, he's not. A set of intermediate tyres. So he's gone for a set of intermediates again. He's not happy with those intermediates. So he wants to go for a set there. In comes Ryan Berry for a set of intermediate tyres.
J-Lu's on inters. Well. Slenderman's on inters.
Yeah, a few of them have gone on intermediates. A few on the wet tyres. So
oh my goodness.
I mean, if you're someone like these top 3 or 4 positions, you've got a bit more of a buffer. Someone like Timo right now probably might be a little bit concerned. Oh, Slender Man, don't do that. And well, he's lost the position now. Kieran gets through, and I think he'll let him back through because it would have been invalidated.
Lee's left. Oh,
never mind. Bye, Lee. He's disconnected, I think, is the issue for that. We will get another lap on the safety car.
This is monsoon!
Look at the sky. It is absolutely bucketing down. And I would not be surprised. This would be red flag conditions right now, I'd reckon. Look at the sky. It is pitch black.
Well. I was not expecting this to be a season finale. We've had safety cars, we have VSCs, we've had front wing damage, we've had dry conditions, we've had a wet qualifying, we've had intermediate conditions, we've had 4 wets, and this is monsoon, ladies and gentlemen. Monsoon conditions. To be honest, Liam, we've had everything so far in this race.
I think this might be the first time I've commented on a race in monsoon conditions. Now, I've raced in monsoon conditions, and
so have I.
We'll see. It didn't end well. The safety car didn't hit the pit. Well, the safety car has just crashes the wall of champions. I just caught it. The safety car taps the wall of champions. Is Slenderman battling with Kieran as these guys are doing some tyre warm-up under the safety car. They're squirming around a little bit. They switched positions again, I've noticed. Actually.
Well, an interesting fact, actually. The first time I've ever raced in monsoon conditions was a charity race. and it was custom weather, to be honest. They set it to heavy wet towards the end, and they wasn't expecting it to be monsoon, but it was. The safety car came out because it was too wet.
Yeah, the safety car historically will come out if it gets into these conditions. It will stay out normally for a couple of laps. So we're going to get, I think, one more lap after this one. So we'll get one more because we're waiting on Newgarden to catch the field potentially. So we shall see as Timo nearly hits the wall. Sorry, not Timo. Tony nearly hits the wall on the throttle.
I was going to say, I hope it wasn't Timo there. Jeez, you gave me a heart attack, Liam.
Yeah, they're all squirming around though. No one's got grip out here. And why would you say they've not got grip? Because this is appalling conditions right now. And it is unsurprisingly, I'd reckon this would be a red flag. Safety car, though, is going to be in this lap. So they are not going to wait for Newgarden. They've had enough. They've gone, you know what? I want to do it. I think Newgarden might just hatch onto the back of this, though, if he's lucky. Because it's a long straight. We're not going to get racing then. 6 laps to go. I think 5 laps counting after this one. So 5 laps. We've got a car who's gone off. I think Slenderman has dropped a position. He's dropped down a little bit. The gap's suddenly forming up there. As now they'll get back going. But what are you going to be doing right now then? These conditions are appalling. 5 and a bit laps to go ahead of the drivers. Tony will lead them away. 1 championship to be decided here as we are underway then here in these conditions. They're squirming away on the exit as Tony gets on the power as we look down the field to see if anyone's keeping it on the island. I tell you what, there's a bit of a kerfuffle down the back. Here is Timo trying to look up the inside of Lee. Can't quite do it. Lee goes a little bit late on the brakes. This could be an opportunity around the outside. And let's see, as long as he keeps it on the island, which unfortunately for Lee does not. He's in the wall.
Off!
Yeah, Lee drops it then, so he's got no grip as we ride up to the front. Then it's off goes Iceman. Oh, he's caught it just about. Here is Casper to take P2, but he also loses it. The rear end skating around is now back to the outside then. Here is Iceman. Casper there trying to get around the outside. This is brave in these appalling conditions as he skates around the outside. Timo trying to come through as well. Here is Iceman. Squirming. Here is Jinx. Here is Iceman. Matter drops it down in position as well as they all skate around. Casper goes straight on the brakes. He just gets it slowed. Iceman squirming. Kieran sliding. Tony squeaking away up front. In these conditions, there is Jinx there on the inside. Tony on the outside. These two teammates careful on the exit there as he can't get the power on there. He's losing the rear. He's going to be the pair of them hit each other. Timo's hit. He's run him into the wall nearly. Timo has forced Jinx into the wall there slightly as they try and get the power down. Lap 31 and these conditions deteriorating extremely heavily right now as Iceman leads to the rear end. Timo leads to the rear end and these conditions are appalling right now.
Let me look at gap to leader. Matter needs to gain a second on Tony to win this race. But Matter is on for podium because he's got no penalties. That is how close it is. Matter's just being patient. He's just like, you know what? You guys fight along. You guys keep fighting for position and struggle. I could just sit on the back seat of this, close in onto you, and you can have a fight. Timo's getting very squirmy on Iceman, by the way. But we'll see if he can go for it. I think he's going to go for it. He's got to, really. Well, there's nothing more you can do at the moment because you can see Casper up ahead. Timo did get a penalty, by the way, last lap. So any chances of him getting positions on Casper has sort of slipped away through his fingers. Meanwhile, Flexy's got a time penalty. J-Luke's losing so much time and the wet runners are already gaining. So the ones who gambled by pitting onto the Inters, well, that gamble did not pay off, my friend. It's J-Luke and Mike going side by side. And there goes Jet side by side as well. J-Luke's get another penalty. There's just so much crazy things happening at the moment. Matter is dropping away from Jinx, by the way. So I don't think Matter's gonna be...
Weather's clearing, Jess. Heavy rain is stopping. So, well, we say the heavy rain, the monsoon rain has officially just passed. The sky clean. We've got Ryan Berry, who's dropped it on the exit.
Flexy side by side with Kieran. Sorry to cut you off there. Flexing up to 7th position in this race.
Yeah, he is right now, lap 33 of 35. Then Casper just needs to keep it on the island. So does Timo, so does Tony. anyone makes a mistake here, we could have a last little bit of a showdown gap between these two.
Speaking of mistake,
is Newgarden in the pit lane's retired. So that's not a mistake. I think he's just called the end of that one because he has been... I don't think he's going to gain anything out of this one. No chance of a safety car from here on out. So we are going to get to the end of this race undisrupted. Like, tell you what, Lo Casper's gone straight on nearly. And he'll go straight on, but he'll get a very good exit out of that one because he's done that. Look at the gap he's suddenly pulled on the exit because he'll get more power in that. He suddenly pulls out nearly a second and a bit as well on the exit. So taking a more of a straighter line, might we say. Right, that has worked, but wants to be careful. Doesn't want to pick up a time penalty. Doesn't want to make a mistake. Keep it on the island, keep it in the lines, and he's got that gap 8/10 of a second. Remember, if Casper finishes second, Timo, I don't think anything he can do will do anything.
Well, Casper needs to finish fourth or lower for, I think, Timo. No, fifth or lower for Timo to be champion. So, yeah. So, at the moment, Casper's doing the job, but meanwhile, Tony...
Kieran, what are you doing?
Kieran! Oh, he's doing it for fun, isn't he? He's doing it for fun. It's a final race. He's got nothing to lose.
How many corners, Jess?
12, 13?
I'm going to gamble 4. We'll cut back to the action in due course.
No, I thought he meant around this track.
I mean, he's not going to make any more corners. I bet how many corners is he going to survive? 2. I don't think many. Well, he's got 2 so far. Will he make the 3rd? Yes, he does. So I'm just keeping an eye on the mini-map. We're on that 34. As you can see, meanwhile, Timo closing up to the back of Casper here. Last lap of this race. Coming up ahead, your 2 total protagonists together. And that there, Casper and Timo, as they come through the chicane then for the penultimate time then. Both of them squirming away, both of them on the throttle. Kieran has picked up a time penalty for going straight on over the chicane. So somehow, keeping on the island, all things considered, he's actually not dropping too far off the back of Ryan Berry. Here we are, though. Last lap, last chance for any hurrahs. Then, is there going to be any heroics into any of these corners? Here in these conditions, here in the rain. It's been a fantastic season, but it can only be won by one driver. Is it going to be Casper? Is it going to be Timo? They've got to negotiate a few more corners. They've got 2 and a bit sectors to go. They've got a right, a left, a right, and then the chicane to come. Tony is leading this race, but it's Casper in second. Timo in third. It doesn't matter right now where these guys finish. Yellow flags as Kieran's decided to go and do some spins at turn number 1.
Donuts. He's doing donuts, I think.
There's an opportunity. Here is Timo trying to go to the outside then. Here on the last lap. Here in Canada. Up front, Tony's just got to negotiate the last couple of corners and he'll win the final race of this season. The other 2 title protagonists are going to go then for one last time. They're going to go side by side into the chicane. He's going to force him deep. Well then, the 2 title protagonists, Linus Stern. It's Tony who wins this race, but who's going to get the position? It's Casper, the champion of the world.
Casper is your VSL Season 8 champion. Congratulations to you, Casper. But what a way to end the season, Liam. A photo finish between our 2 title protagonists. And I have to say, well, I think Timo will be disappointed, but the way that things changed throughout the race, I don't think he would have minded that he lost to a worthy winner, to be fair. I wouldn't have minded who would have won, to be honest. Timo and Casper worked well all season long. At one point, we thought it would have gone Timo's way. At one point, we thought it would have gone Casper's way. It went both ways in this motor race. But, well, Casper needs to finish 4th or lower for Timo to have a shot. And Timo would have needed to win. Timo did none of that. Casper is probably relieved after what happened. He was out of it at one point, isn't he? I think the safety car and the full wet conditions have saved him.
Yeah, he very much has. That was a dramatic end of that race. And in the famous words, because his favourite driver is Sebastian Vettel, you are the world champion. The world champion. Enjoy it. Because He's crying. He's crying in the chat already. I can see he's got the emotions. There it is then, Lo. It is. Tony, he wins this race. Timo and Casper alongside him. Your champions, Len, at the front. Ferrari win the constructors. Casper wins the drivers. And there we are. It was a hard-fought battle, and it was only going to be one by one. And it's gone. The land of the finish then in the game, because I'm pretty certain, well, he is finishing game. And that there is Mr. Casper, the world champion, the VSL world champion. Here at the final hurdle then, the final race here on F1 2021. What more drama could he have done?
Let's go through your order for the final time. I have to say, fair play to Tony. He took the lead and he's led the race from the start to finish. So he stayed there, lights the flag victory. Well done to him. Timo second, Casper third, your champion. Matto in fourth. He just missed out on the podium. Jinx in fifth, Iceman sixth, Flexi seventh, Deck eighth, J-Luke ninth, Mike 10th, Slenderman 11th, and Ryan Berry in 12th. Then we got Lee, Kieran are your finishers and are your timers. I think New Garden will still be classified, but your timers are Yaham, Dara, Rotation, and Ahmed. Wow.
Yeah, and what a dramatic race, Jess. And we've got to get, of course, our championship winner in this call in just a few moments' time. Presumably, we shall hopefully get him dragged in due course.
And let me see, I need to find the graphic first to put up on stream. So, Casper, here's your moment. It's going to be tweeted as well. There it is. Congratulations, Casper. I am going to actually, hopefully he's added me on Discord.
Hopefully.
If not, we need to go onto the VSL Discord. But I will hopefully. He's online. He's online on his computer, so that's good. So we're going to drag him in, hopefully. And we are starting to call him. So hopefully he could have a chat to us very soon. Casper, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Casper, you are the world champion. The world champion. How are you feeling?
I'm out of words, to be honest.
The legendary.
How to put speak? I have no idea.
Well, talk us through that race. You pitted on to intermediates at a unopportune time. You dropped a load of positions. I mean, at that point there, did you think it could have been all over?
I never thought that it could be over. I had mentality like I want to finish this race and see what happens, and that paid off.
Yeah, indeed, you saw, of course. Timo dropped it. I think we're actually right in front of you or right behind you. In those conditions.
I was shocked by seeing that because I thought I had a hard time to keep it on the right direction, and then suddenly he's sideways into the wall, and I was like, why need to push that much?
Yeah, he pushed it, he ended up dropping it, and of course, it was close. I mean, you got a nice photo finish with your rival. I mean, it's been a hard-fought battle, hasn't it, between you two, and I presume you've loved every moment of it.
Yeah, to be honest, I focused more on the celebration than Timo on next to me, and I tried to watch out for him, like not having massive contact and probably lose my title because of that.
Yeah, indeed. And over to you, Jess. Have you got any questions for our world champion?
Yes, well, first of all, congratulations on your win there. We've got plans for F1 22. First of all, are you going to do another season with us? And second, if you are doing another season, what are your goals? Are you going to try and do the 2 in a row?
Of course, I try to defend my championship. So yes, I will be in a great next season.
Hey, that'll be good. It's not your first one. It's not your first VSL champion, is it? It is your first. All right, okay. Yeah. So your first one. Nice to see we got a different champion as well. And who would you say is, apart from Timo, who else would you probably watch out for next season?
Never underestimate what Matt can do. He can really pounce up. There's so many candidates. Hard to say.
Fair enough. That's my question, Liam.
Well, there we go. And I mean, I suppose a season of ups, a season of downs, and it's all come down to it then. Your 2021 VSL World Champion. And Jess, tell you what, like, for me, it's been a very lovely season I've managed to jump in. Of course, missed the first race because I wasn't here because I hadn't been dragged in. Jess dragged me in by my ankles, and I've loved every minute of it. So I'll say thank you to Jess. I want to, of course, say thank you to all of the owners, and there's so many of them as well, to the stewards, to the, of course, to Matt, who is slightly washed and unfortunately, hopefully will recover from
Matt
his
with the graphics.
injuries. Matt has done all the graphics, but he's unfortunately washed up with his driving of this season, unfortunately. Hopefully he recovers from his injuries he's picked up. But, of course, Jess, I suppose for the last time, you can round it up.
Yes, indeed. Thank you guys so much for watching. It has been an absolute privilege. And also, I'd like to say thank you to you, Liam, for joining me in the commentary box, because otherwise I would have done a full season by myself and I probably would have had no voice. So thank you very much. It's to be honest, I've enjoyed this season a lot. I've been enjoying VSL quite a lot on Wednesday night. I'm getting to commentate my friends on my friends, and I get to share the box with a lovely person as well. So, and also thanks to you guys at home for watching as well, because without you guys watching, there wouldn't be any stream as well. And obviously thank you to all the drivers as well for putting on some great shows as well. And we've got some great plans for F1 22, by the way. Watch this space, and you'll find out very soon. And for the final time, check out our sponsor, Rogue Energy. You can use the code VSL F1 Leave for 10% off. That'll be the last time I'll be saying that for a while. So I've been Jessica Ball, Evil Dragon has been Liam New, and we will see you next season. I don't know what day it is, for the first race of the season for F1 22. There's going to be action-packed action, and you won't want to miss it. But for now, you'll join us next week for the Season 8 Awards night. So, see you very soon, and good night.